You can turn the switch on. There's a switch. He's back there.
Yeah? Here we go. We'll be loud.
Okay.
I state your name.
I, Mia Sachs,
Sincerely profess
sincerely profess
and swear that I do
and swear that I do
and will
and will
bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the government established in this state
to the government established in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America
and
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Princeton Council
of the office of Princeton Council
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so return the Bible. Actually, I'll let you keep it. You can sit down.
Do you want me to go slow?
So here, do you want to hold the Bible for me?
Sure,
John?
absolutely. I don't know. You tell me where.
So her left hand on the Bible, right hand in the air. She's got to get the.
I gotta get close.
Do my best to project. You ready? I state your name.
I, Michelle Perrin-Lambros,
Sincerely profess and swear
sincerely profess and swear
that I do and will
that I do and will
bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and
to
allegiance
the government established in this state
to the government established in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Princeton Council
of the office of Princeton Council
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Senator. Okay, will the clerk now read the roll of the 2023 council?
Ms. Perron-Lambros,
Here.
Ms. Niedergang,
Here.
Mr. Cohen,
Here.
Ms. Fraga,
Here.
Ms. Sachs,
Here.
Mr. Newland,
Here.
Mayor Frida.
Here. I will now accept nominations for the office of council president.
I wish to nominate Mia Sachs.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I believe now we have another swearing in to do of the council president, and Assemblywoman Jaffa will come up, and Mia gets sworn in again.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I, Mia Sachs,
I, Mia Sachs,
sincerely profess and swear
sincerely profess and swear
that I do and will
that I do and will
bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the government established
to the government established
in this state
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully, impartially,
and justly perform
all the
of
duties
the office of Princeton Council President
of the office of Princeton Council President,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have a consent agenda, which is multiple items of just things you do at the beginning of the year to appoint people and put things in place so we can run the town for 2023. So is there a motion to move the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Eve, seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving right along. Now we're going to get into remarks. I'll make a couple remarks, then the council president, and then the council members. Then we do public comment, and then we get to adjourn, and there's light refreshments in the community room when we're done. Or you can head out to the parking lot, get in your car, and go home. But anyway, again, welcome. Happy New Year. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. We are very glad that you all found the time to be with us this evening. Two important things to mention. One, I believe we have all agreed to keep our remarks short, so good news for all of you. Second, this meeting is the 10th anniversary of the first meeting of the new governing body of the Consolidated Princeton. So I think that is... Yep. That was and is a very significant achievement. And maybe others in the state at some point will follow after us in something that served a lot of good purposes and has really helped us run the town, I think, much better than it was before. And we might have, I don't know, we might have people in the audience that were either on the Joint Consolidation Study Commission or on the Transition Task Force. Or any of you are here tonight, could you just stand up for a second, please? And we'd like to say thank you very much for... A lot of time and effort went into that, so thank you. I expect that between our 7 short speeches, many of the achievements of 2022 will be mentioned, so I'm going to focus on just 3 items from last year. First, I want to thank our very knowledgeable, professional municipal staff who work so hard for us. What they accomplish on a daily basis is truly amazing. While we are small in physical size, we're really a small town. The workload that we have, or our staff faces every day, is that of a small city. So to our staff, I applaud you and I appreciate all you do for the municipality of Princeton. The second item I want to talk about is the high level of engagement that there was last year between so many of you that live here, work here, own businesses here, with us, with the governing body, and/or with our municipal staff. Personally, I enjoy the face-to-face discussions, the email exchanges, text messages, getting stopped in the grocery store, wherever, everywhere. But, you know, and I do try to reply to people, emails and text messages. I think I'm 99% successful most of the time. If I owe you a reply, let me know, and I'll get that to 100%. But what is really striking to me is the ability to have open and honest discussions on so many topics. Our ability and willingness to listen to each other, to try to understand each other's viewpoints, is part of the foundation that makes our system work so well. From my perspective, part of the role of an elected official is not to try to guess what you want to hear versus giving you factual and accurate information to help you with your decision process. Our discussions on any item are really business discussions, so it is okay to be open, honest, and even disagree with each other. Disagreement is not a personal attack and should not be quickly dismissed. It is just a reflection of our different personalities, backgrounds, experiences, cultures, and how much information we have on any specific topic. Taking the time to understand why we disagree is a good habit. It can help us move forward. Easy to say this, not always easy to practice, but trying to practice it consistently is what I do hope to do for this year. My third item is an example of what I believe to be good governance. Last year, the governing body set a number of high-level goals for the year. Why this is important is that this reflected a change in how our goals are usually set. Many times, the governing body goals were based on what our different departments set as their goals. But the governing body is supposed to set the goals and the directions for the town. And the departments and all our boards, commissions, committees should set their goals based on the governing body's goals. This is an important practice that I hope we continue and expand on in 2023 and in future years. I want to thank our many partners at the county and state level that work with us throughout the year. And there's a number of officials here with us this evening. I'm not going to try to mention everybody, sorry, but last night I was at the county commissioners reorg meeting and it took quite a while to introduce everybody. But it's a small enough group. If you look around, you'll see the different senator, assembly people, county executive, former county commissioners, current county commissioners, county clerk, et cetera, that are all here. But anyway, we appreciate all the help and effort that we get from all of those people and their staffs throughout the year. And of course, I want to thank my wife and children for their support, something that I'm extremely grateful for. I told you I'd be brief, so thank you again for being here this evening. Mia?
I think I'm not going to be as successful in keeping my promise. Serving on Princeton Council these past 3 years has been equally challenging and rewarding, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to help shape my hometown during this critical period. One of the highlights for me has been working with this high-functioning team, which is characterized by collaboration and collegiality as opposed to competition, and I am truly honored to represent you all. Planning for our town's future will continue to be my primary focus. As Council's representative on the Princeton Planning Board and its Master Plan Steering Committee, I am working to ensure that the town's master plan accurately reflects residents' core values and provides a much-needed guide to navigating the impact of growth in Princeton and surrounding towns. Repairing Princeton's sanitary sewer system, expanding our stormwater infrastructure, and creating a stormwater utility are top priorities for the current council. We are forging ahead with updates to stormwater management ordinances that meet and exceed state requirements for green infrastructure and promote crucial resiliency in the face of climate change. This year, Council will be, at last, taking the final steps to implement Princeton's affordable housing settlement. We are acutely aware of the historic connection between housing and race, and that New Jersey remains one of the most segregated states in the nation. Princeton is a town full of lawn signs announcing that all are welcome. Putting those words into practice means redoubling our commitment to eliminate exclusionary zoning and housing patterns that prevent lower income and communities of color from residing in safe, affordable homes and neighborhoods. Fortunately, Princeton is not a town where fear of school children is used to thwart our constitutional obligation to provide our fair share of affordable housing. That said, we know that additional housing will come with children. As liaison to the Princeton School Board, I know that I speak for all of my colleagues in affirming our commitment to work together with you to support Princeton Public Schools. The health of our children is one of the most important investments a community can make. It must be a priority for all of us entrusted with their welfare and the capacity to directly impact their future well-being. We look forward to working with you, the school board, and the Princeton Public Schools Administration to prioritize this investment. The current council is also deeply committed to open space preservation. Councilwoman Niedergang and I have worked with a consortium of local partners to secure funding for preservation of a 153-acre parcel, the largest remaining tract of undeveloped land in Princeton. The acquisition is part of an ongoing initiative called Princeton Emerald's Necklace, through which we are working to more responsibly steward and connect our open spaces throughout the town for passive recreational use and to make them more available to a diverse group of residents. And I just want to take a moment to thank everyone from the county who is here for your generous contribution to making possible these acquisitions. As Council's liaison to the Public Transit Committee, I have been involved with transitioning Princeton's free bus service to a new model that will enable us to create greater efficiencies of scale with the university. We are working to expand routes to our new affordable housing sites in ways that take into account the needs of working families, especially those with after-school transportation needs. In addition, as chair of the newly constituted Infrastructure and Operations Committee, I have worked together with staff and administration and the Personnel Committee to merge our Public Works and Engineering departments, which had been one of the recommendations of the consolidation transition team. The consolidated departments have provided and will continue to provide better coordination for planning and maintenance of our municipal infrastructure, as well as more streamlined, cost-effective delivery of services. The past year, in our Infrastructure and Operations Department, we retained a consultant to undertake an in-depth analysis of our solid waste collection and disposal systems. The town will realize significant financial and environmental benefits as recommendations from these studies are implemented in the coming year. In the Personnel Committee, Councilwoman Fraga, Niedergang, and I embarked on an organization-wide restructuring that combined multiple departments and created a new leadership team with Jeff Grosser, Deputy Administrator for Health and Human Services, and Deanna Stockton, who unfortunately cannot be here with us tonight, who is the Deputy Administrator for Infrastructure and Operations. I said Health and Human Services, right? Good. These two, Jeff and Deanna, led by our inimitable administrator, Bernie Vozdovich, continue to work miracles on a daily basis. And I'm sure most of you are already aware of this, but for those of you who don't know, we on this dais could not do what we do on a daily basis without our staff, in particular this leadership team. So thank you, Jeff and Bernie and Deanna. In Council's Finance Committee, Council members Perone, Lambros, Cohen, and I have been working to create a budget process that is more accessible to the public. This reconstituted process will ensure that core expenditures reflect current community values and objectives. Councilwomen Niedergang, Perone, Lambros, and I are currently renegotiating the town's voluntary contribution with Princeton University. We hope the result will be an agreement which strengthens our shared interest in enhancing the town's fiscal health, diverse population, and thriving central business district. Finally, I am truly, truly honored to represent my colleagues as we continue to work toward our vision of a Princeton where community involvement, private sector innovation, growth, and revitalization are joined with attractive, accessible housing and local job opportunities, where public services are cost-effectively furnished and where vital natural resources in and around our core are protected and preserved. Thank you. I think we were going to do Michelle next because
I'm sorry?
of think we were going to do.
Do we have a set order?
Okay.
I think you should go, Leticia, as not only my equal in seniority, but also the outgoing council president. So.
Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you. I need my reading glasses. As I begin my 6th year on council, I want to convey my gratitude to all who inspire me to do this work every day. My family, my friends, my colleagues, our municipal staff, our many community partners, and as I have mentioned in past years, I would also include every single individual who comes to the podium to have their say. To serve as your council member is not only a privilege and an honor, it is also a responsibility that I don't take lightly. This year, I look forward to continuing my work on the committees I've been serving on, which I believe are all a perfect fit for me as they allow me to do the work that I am most passionate about. Public safety, civil rights, human services, Board of Health, the Personnel, Youth Advisory, and the local emergency planning committees. I am proud of our shared accomplishments this past year. Together, my colleagues and the dedicated volunteers who serve on the boards, commissions, and committees have worked to address the issues that impact every single individual's quality of life, including the issue of affordability, food insecurity, and equal access to basic needs. Just this past year, in collaboration with Human Services, under the leadership of our health officer, who also serves as Deputy Administrator, Jeff Grosser, we saw the expansion of access to basic health care, as well as dental and vision care for our uninsured and underinsured neighbors, which really, most of us take it for granted, but I can guarantee you for many of our neighbors, it's really been a lifeline to them. Our work is not done, and we have more to accomplish to ensure we provide opportunities to enrich the quality of life of all of our residents for years to come. In closing, and aren't you glad that I made it short? I wish to announce that I will be running to keep my seat on council. I am hopeful that I will, thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm hopeful that I will have the opportunity to continue helping our community maintain the positive direction it is headed in with all that we have accomplished over the last several years. We have made a lot of improvements, but we certainly have more to do. Thank you and Happy New Year.
As I embark on the final year of my 2nd term in office, just to provide a little variety, I want to reflect on some of the things I haven't gotten done. Not to dwell on my failures, because I mostly don't consider them failures, but to meditate on why it takes so darn long to make change. To start, I want to give a shout out to the many members of the community who have worked with me over these years, particularly the ones who have felt stymied in reaching our goals. The members of the Permit Parking Task Force, the members of the Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, and the many participants in preparing Princeton's Climate Action Plan may all feel frustrated by the slow pace of progress. I've been honored to work with you and awed by your dedication and thoughtfulness. We don't thank our volunteers often enough. Please know how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Together, we have identified strategies that will help Princeton become more livable, equitable, and sustainable. I remain committed to moving these policies forward. To that end, I want to let the community know that I do plan to continue on the council in the coming years if the voters will support me for another term. But to return to my central theme, why does it take so long? I think we've all heard the parable of the frog placed in the frying pan. If you put the frog in a pan of hot water, it will hop right out. But if you put one in a pan of cool water and gradually heat it, supposedly the frog will just sit there and eventually boil to death. Each of the issues I listed above are like that pan of water, with parking, with bike and pedestrian safety, and with climate action. It is all too easy for our residents to be complacent and to resist change, especially because many of us are frogs sitting next to the frying pan and watching our fellow Princetonians gradually suffer more and more, but not yet feeling the pain ourselves. You volunteers, the ones who see the flame hidden under the pan and want to do something about it. In order to really manage change, we all need to recognize it is happening, realize that we are all at risk, and most importantly, we must all get engaged in solving the problems. You here tonight get that, and we on council appreciate your presence and your voice. But in the coming year, we also want to hear from the broader community. When you hear about a new initiative council is taking up, or an old one we are looking to revisit, please attend a meeting or drop us an email saying you support what we're trying to do, and encourage your friends to do so as well. And then be patient. We're paddling as hard as we can.
Thank you. I hope this is a more effective reorganization than the House of Representatives is experiencing. I just caught a quick headline about yet the 9th attempt to install a speaker, and we did it on the first try. So that's a nice segue to congratulate my colleague Mia Sachs as our new Speaker or Council President, and to both Michelle and Mia for their re-election. I want to give a shout out to Leighton for completing his first year on council. I think he's done a tremendous job, and it's an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. So thank you to outgoing Council President Fraga as well, and to Mayor and Councilman Cohen. Thank you so much. It's really, as Mia said, it's an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. To our staff, to all the volunteers on our boards and commissions, as has been said, we simply could not do this without your input, your hard work, and all the support and action that you do to put the broad policies that we try to envision and enact into practice. I'm going to focus on a little bit more of some micro rather than some broader things. I wanted to focus tonight on environmental issues and sustainability. There are a lot of other things I do as a councilwoman, but this seemed, given the specter of climate change, it seemed to make sense to focus on some of these. So I'm going to get a little bit into the weeds on some of these. At the end of 2021, we passed a sustainable landscaping ordinance limiting the use of gas leaf blowers. We hired a community compliance officer, which allowed the municipality to work with and educate our local landscapers and property owners about the unhealthy, toxic effects of these noisy two-stroke engines. And I think this is a really good example of how small policies can make a bigger change, and how education lies at the root of so much of what we want to do as a council and as a community. Change is very difficult for people, and it requires a lot of patience and a lot of explanation of why change is important. And of course, it's also important to realize that change is not a choice between what we have now and the change in one direction or another, but a choice between this change and that change. The status quo does not stay the same. So that's always something to keep in mind as we move forward. Next steps on this particular policy, there are efforts to ban or limit these devices on the state level, and as well as to provide financial support for landscapers who will transition to electric equipment. Sustainable Princeton has already done some support of our local landscapers to help them transition from the gas power to the electric equipment, and I hope the state does the same thing. Next year, or actually, sorry, this year, the Environmental Commission and Sustainable Princeton will continue to focus on education for Princeton residents on how to manage their properties in a sustainable way that enhances habitat, absorbs stormwater, and limits the use of harmful fertilizers and pesticides that are damaging our environment and our water quality. In 2023, the municipality will be moving away from collection of loose leaves, which will reduce the use of gas leaf blowers, as well as limiting the amount of benzopyrenes entering our stormwater system when leaves sit on the street and pick up contaminants from passing vehicles. This is both mandated by the State Department of Environmental Protection. They've passed new regulations. And it's also a much better thing for the health of our environment and our waterways. Additionally, this will be more fiscally prudent. We'll be able to save money. We'll be able to spend less money by doing it this way. As Councilwoman Sachs mentioned, we have a new waste contract, which limits cost increases and provides incentives for residents to reduce the amount of trash they create. Scheduling bulk trash pickups will both cut carbon emissions and limit the impact of the vast rising prices for trash management. Although we have not yet been able to find a cost-effective way to implement a town-wide composting program, we are still investigating those options. We are continuing to work on preserving some of our key remaining open spaces. The hiring of an open space manager assists not only with acquisition, but with optimal management of our open space and our vision, as Mia referred to, of the Emerald Necklace Initiative. Our open space manager is also leading the development of our environmental resource inventory, which is a mandated plan that has to be done every decade. Princeton also continues to promote habitat diversity by engaging in deer management, which helps keep auto deer crashes at low levels, as well as preserving our landscape. Climate change and flooding do not respect municipal boundaries. We are working with neighboring towns on stormwater-related issues and to mitigate the potential harms of the enormous warehouse development that is being contemplated off Quaker Bridge Road. We've made steps towards electrifying our fleet and installing EV chargers and are keeping an eye out on energy markets for an opportunity to participate in another energy aggregation plan. We are, importantly, on track to meet the goals of our climate action plan. As some of you know, as Councilwoman Sachs mentioned, we are talking with the university about the renewal of our voluntary contribution. We've asked the university to make a major commitment to assist us with building resiliency and sustainability in the face of climate change and to help with the housing and affordability crisis, which I think are the twin crises of our times that we must be ready to grapple with. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As you're hearing this evening, we've accomplished a lot, and obviously there's a lot of work to continue to do. Can you hear me all right? Before I start, though, just let me congratulate my colleague, Mia Sachs, on being the council president, and I also just want to say how thrilled I am to hear Leticia and David are going to run for re-election, so thank you. Listen, in general, I just couldn't ask for a more collaborative team of colleagues to work with. It's a wonderful staff to work with, extremely professional, very responsive, and we're getting a lot done. I hear you're hearing me better? Okay, thank you. And I also just want to take a moment to thank my family who are here. My boys, Kostas, Elias, Andreas, my husband, George, who is always with me. He's not here tonight, but my parents are here, Ralph and Lydia, my sister, Andrea, my aunts, Anna, Ellie. My family gives me the inspiration for doing what I'm doing, public service and community service, because they've always done it. And on that note, I'll say that my work on council reaches back to these historic roots, and one of the concerns that I have is greatly addressing affordability in our town. It's causing the evaporation of socioeconomic diversity. We're pricing our lower and middle income residents out of town. I've been really focused on driving economic development because I believe these two goals are synergistic, that it makes financial sense as the health of our commercial tax base is critical to help offset our residential tax burden. To address affordability and maintain the diversity in our town, we continue to work together, our colleagues, our staff, our community, to eliminate exclusionary zoning practices, to build more affordable housing, and to increase our middle-income housing stock. There's no single path forward that will resolve all of this. It has to be multi-pronged. We need to find ways to incentivize smart growth without increasing the burden on our taxpayers. My work on the Council Affordable Housing Planning and Redevelopment Committee, along with Mia and David, we are continuing to find opportunities to increase lower and middle income residents, to get them to live here while adding to our tax base and investing in community benefits. On the economic development goal, we were faced with incredible challenges these past few years. I'm proud to have shepherded the creation of the Princeton Business Partnership. I see many of the board members here tonight, and I thank you for taking the time to be here, for the support and the work that this board and the steering committee has done. This is a milestone in our town's history and will contribute greatly to the increased economic vitality, improved business mix that addresses our residents' needs. It enhances the retail and restaurant offerings, and it helps to beautify our business districts. I'll continue to work as chair of the Finance Committee to focus on ways to streamline and trim our budget, and also, of course, maintain the very high level of services our residents enjoy. We're looking at ways that our municipal properties could better serve the town. So we've undertaken a comprehensive facilities analysis, which will help guide decisions on how to best use our public assets, how to consolidate properties, and determine if some of them could become ratables. We've captured grant funding for a wide array of capital improvement projects, thanks in large part to our municipal staff and their hard work. Recently, we have a congressional budget allocation of $750,000 for the Witherspoon Street Phase 2 streetscape project. We plan to move forward with more streetscape, road safety improvement projects, and major investments in our sewer infrastructure while we continue to work to garner as much state and federal funding as possible. So I put it out there because I see some, I see some important faces out there to help us. To better serve the diverse needs of our residents, we are exploring options for a community center, very important, and we're investing more in our parks and recreational amenities. We recently launched a planning process for Community Park South to improve our facilities and better serve the residents' needs for youth and adult recreation. We plan to do the same for Grover Park and have, in fact, already secured funding to help improve their facilities and mitigate stormwater. So we'll be implementing improvements on our communication with our residents through a revision of our newsletter, improvements in outreach on social media, and on our website. Lastly, my work on the university negotiating team with my colleagues is focused on strengthening our partnership with the university as we build on our mutual interests of preserving the diversity of our town, supporting economic growth, and enhancing our town's resiliency to climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to acknowledge outgoing President Letitia Fraga and thank and acknowledge her for all the hard work you did over the past year. I would like to congratulate incoming Council President Mia Sachs for the great job I know you are about to do this year. I also want to acknowledge both Michelle and Mia for your re-election, and I am just thrilled to death and happy that I heard tonight that both Letitia Fraga and David Cohen will seek re-election. That is a wonderful and a beautiful and a good thing for the town of Princeton. So thank you. I want to acknowledge my family and my friends, my soulmate, Ms. Tisha Jamat, for their steadfast support over the past year. As you heard, some of my colleagues have gotten a little bit more granular and into the weeds tonight, and that's exactly where I'm going to stay out of. I think this statement is more of a report card of a first-year councilman. So here it goes. 2 years ago, when I decided to seek elective office, I didn't do so because I was interested in politics. I did it because I was interested in and excited about serving the people who live here, who raise and educate their children here, and who have made Princeton their home. What I have learned so far is that serving on council is not, let me repeat that, it is not for the faint of heart. It's not. You can't mail it in because your colleagues are all working hard, doing their part, and are depending on you to contribute, to engage, and to get it right. In considering the issues that come before this body, I have used a wide-angle lens, as I promised, with a narrow focus on inclusivity, diversity, accessibility, equity, and social justice. To some, these may just be buzzwords that seem right for the times. For me, these words have meaning beyond what could be considered daily menu items. They are entrees that provide sustenance for the human condition, and aptly applied, they bring forth food and they feed the human spirit. They set the framework and foundation for building community for all. When I started this journey a year ago, I promised to take the responsibility of being an elected official seriously. I have done that. I have tried to be thorough in my preparation, to bring an open mind to our deliberations and dialogue, and a clear focus in qualifying and evaluating policies, processes, programs, ordinances, and resolutions. I have tried to be local, accessible, responsive, and easy to find. I do not run away from problems. At times, when there were things that I have not completely understood, I have taken the time to visit with administrators, thank you, department heads, thank you, legal representatives, thank you, and the community at large, thank you. These collaborations allow for a better sense and understanding of the information being shared and the impact that initiatives will have on the people of Princeton. I have done my homework, so my decisions are well informed and well thought out. I have become a student of municipal government, and I have asked 3 simple but important questions in evaluating critical issues that come before this body. Is this right? Does it work for all the people? And does it make sense? Managing the lives and well-being of 33,000 people is no easy task, and I want to share with the public something you may not realize. And that is the high level of administrative and technical expertise, loyalty, and skill of our municipal workers in every department and at every level. If I have learned anything over my first year, it is that great cities and towns have a combination of leadership and infrastructure. Princeton is blessed with great human infrastructure and elected officials who genuinely care and are generously committed. As liaison to the Affordable Housing Committee, Corner House, the Princeton Housing Authority, and the Princeton Alcohol and Drug Alliance, I have watched, listened to, and participated with municipal volunteers who give their time and expertise in their respective assignments. I want to thank board members, commissions, and committee members for their unselfish contribution in working with our mayor and council to help lay the foundation and framework for Princeton's past, present, and the bright future ahead that we are all working towards. I want to thank and acknowledge the mayor and my colleagues for their guidance and patience over the past year. I didn't know what to expect as a member of council, even though I did have a year to prepare and did have some idea of what the year ahead might bring. To be honest, I must admit that it is more challenging and more rewarding than I anticipated. Victor Hugo, the French poet and playwright, said, and I quote, "Being good is easy. What is difficult is being just." That thought has always resonated with me because it gets rid of all the noise and strengthens my belief in the foundation and the role of good governance and good government. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I yield back.
Thank you. All right, 2 more items and we're almost done. Next up is there any public comment for items not on the agenda? Anybody here in the room had some item they wanted to bring up? Okay. Speaking to Adam in the back room. Adam, is there anybody online with a hand up? Nope. Okay. In that case, Mr. Cohen,
I move to adjourn.
is there a second? Thank you. Eve has a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all for being here. Light refreshments in the community room.